The tomb guard froze mid-stride, then shattered protocol with a single step off his sacred line, rifle steady as he advanced toward the chaos. The crowd at Arlington held its breath, murmurs rippling like wildfire. Had the unbreakable sentinel finally cracked? But what no one realized, not the shocked onlookers or the fuming businessman in his path, was that this stoic guardian carried a scar from a battlefield loss that mirrored the little girl's own heartbreak. And he was about to prove that some duties run deeper than duty itself. Before we dive into this story, where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. And if you believe that values like honor, courage, and sacrifice still matter, join us in keeping their legacy alive. It was a warm afternoon, the kind where the sun hung high over Arlington National Cemetery, casting a golden glow on rows of white headstones standing like silent sentinels. Memorial Day drew crowds from across the country to pay respects to fallen heroes. The air was thick with solemnity and quiet chatter, families sharing stories, veterans standing tall with medals pinned to their chests, and tourists snapping photos of the eternal flame. Today, the crowd swelled larger than usual, thousands gathering to witness the changing of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier. With so many visitors, the cemetery staff had set up extra posts for the sentinels, elite guards from the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment, to maintain order and honor the site. One of those outer posts was manned by Sergeant Marcus Jackson, a 28-year-old from a tight-knit community in Georgia. His crisp blue uniform gleamed under the sun, his white-gloved hands gripping his rifle with precision. Marcus had been a tomb guard for 2 years, earning the coveted tomb badge after months of grueling training. He knew the drill by heart. 21 steps forward, a sharp click of heels, 21 seconds of pause, then repeat. No talking, no distractions, just unwavering vigilance over the unknowns who had given everything for their country. It was a role that demanded perfection, a living tribute to sacrifice. Marcus carried the weight of his cousin's loss in Afghanistan, a pain that fueled his dedication. Raised in a family that valued service with gospel music and community barbecues shaping his youth, he stood tall, his resolve rooted in both personal loss and collective pride. Standing at his outer post near the pathway to the tomb, he could hear the distant rhythm of the main ceremony, his focus laser-sharp on his assigned spot. Amid the sea of visitors, a little girl named Lily Carter wheeled her way through the crowd, her mother Sarah pushing the chair over the gravel paths. Lily was 10, with bright hazel eyes and braids adorned with colorful beads that clicked softly as they moved. She was born with a rare muscle condition that kept her in the wheelchair, but it never dimmed her spirit. Her dad had been a Marine, killed in Iraq when she was a toddler. He'd told her stories about Arlington, about the tomb guards who stood watch like superheroes, protecting the memory of soldiers like him. "They're the bravest, Lil," he'd say. "One day I'll take you there," but he never got the chance. So today, on Memorial Day, Sarah had made the drive from their home in Maryland, determined to fulfill that promise. Lily clutched a small American flag in her lap, her hands fidgeting with excitement. "Mom, do you think we'll get close enough? I want to see one up close like Dad said." Sarah smiled down at her, though her eyes were tired from the long morning. At 35, she balanced a part-time job at a community center and caring for Lily. Moments like this made it worthwhile. "We'll try our best, sweetie. Look, there's a spot up ahead." They inched forward, navigating the throng. The crowd was polite at first, parting slightly for the wheelchair. But as they neared the outer viewing area, it grew denser. People craned their necks, phones held high, blocking Lily's view. She strained to see past the legs and backs, catching only glimpses of the distant tomb. That's when Robert Klein entered the picture. Robert was a 45-year-old businessman from Chicago, the kind who lived on his phone, closing deals and barking orders. He ran a tech startup selling cybersecurity software, and he was here on a whim, squeezing the visit between conference calls. Dressed in a rumpled polo and slacks, he pushed through the crowd like it was a busy airport terminal, his Bluetooth earpiece blinking as he talked loudly. "Yes, Steve, tell them the deadline's non-negotiable. I don't care about their excuses. Time is money." He didn't notice Lily at first, stepping right in front of her wheelchair to get a better angle on the pathway. Sarah cleared her throat politely. "Excuse me, sir. Could you please step aside a little?" My daughter can't see from here. Robert glanced down, his face twisting in annoyance. He muted his call for a second. Look, lady, I'm in the middle of something important. Just wheel her over there or something. He gestured vaguely and turned back to his phone, his voice rising again. No, Steve, push harder on the contract. Lily's face fell, her grip tightening on the flag. She whispered to her mom, "It's okay. I can hear the steps, I think." But inside, her heart sank. This was supposed to be special. A connection to her dad. The crowd murmured around them, a few shooting Robert dirty looks, but no one intervened yet. Sarah tried again, her voice firmer. "Sir, please. She's been looking forward to this all year. It's Memorial Day. Have a little respect." Robert rolled his eyes, unmuting. "Hold on, Steve." He turned to Sarah with a smirk. "Respect? I'm respecting the troops by being here, aren't I? But I've got a business to run. Kid can watch it on YouTube later." He shifted his stance, blocking Lily completely, his broad shoulders like a wall. The tension rippled through the onlookers. A veteran in a baseball cap muttered, "What a jerk." But Robert ignored him, diving back into his call. "Yeah, escalate it to the CEO if you have to." Lily felt tears pricking her eyes. She looked toward Marcus's post just a few yards away. He was so still, so strong, like the stories her dad told. "Mom, why is he being mean?" Sarah squeezed her shoulder. "Some people are just wrapped up in their own world, honey. Don't let it ruin your day." But as Robert's voice boomed louder, complaining about delays in his deal, the crowd's patience wore thin. Someone shouted, "Hey, buddy, move it. There's a kid here." Robert spun around, his face reddening. "Mind your own business. I'm not hurting anyone." In his frustration, he gestured wildly, his foot accidentally kicking the wheel of Lily's chair. It wasn't hard, but it jolted her, making the chair rattle. Lily gasped, clutching the armrest. Sarah pulled her back instinctively. "That's enough. You're scaring her." The air went still. Marcus, at his post, had been maintaining his vigil, eyes forward, but something shifted. From the corner of his eye, he caught the movement. The little girl flinching, the man's aggressive stance. His training screamed to stay put, to ignore distractions. But memories flooded in. His cousin joking with kids at a community cookout before deployment. The family gatherings where stories of service were shared over plates of collard greens and cornbread. The unknowns he guarded had families too. For the first time in his watch, Marcus's gaze flickered, just enough to take in the scene. The crowd held its breath. Would the sentinel move? Tradition said no, but as Robert sneered, "She's fine." Dramatic much? The question hung heavy. The tension thickened like the humid Virginia air. Robert, oblivious to the growing stares, paced a small circle while yelling into his earpiece. "Steve, if we lose this client, heads will roll. Get it done." His movements were erratic, bumping into people nearby, but he zeroed in on Lily's spot as if it were prime real estate for his call. Lily wiped her eyes, trying to be brave. "Mom, maybe we should go." But Sarah stood her ground. "No, sweetie. This is for your dad. We'll stay." A teenage boy in the crowd, phone in hand, started recording discreetly. "This guy's unreal," he whispered to his friend. Others nodded, forming a loose semicircle around Lily and Sarah. An older woman, perhaps a veteran's wife, spoke up. "Sir, there's plenty of space over there." "But the child see." Robert waved her off. "I've got as much right to be here as anyone." "Busy day, people. Deal with it." Marcus's mind raced behind his stoic facade. The rules were clear. No interaction, no deviation. The Tomb Guard's creed was about honor, discipline, representing the nation's gratitude. But watching this unfold, seeing the girl's trembling hands, it stirred something deep. His cousin had died protecting innocents overseas. Wasn't this a form of protection too? He took his 21 steps, paused, but his peripheral vision stayed locked on the drama. Robert, sensing the crowd's disapproval, amped up his defensiveness. He stepped closer to Lily, looming over her chair. "Look, kid, life's not fair. I worked hard to get where I am. Can't pause for every sob story." He mimicked a salute toward Marcus's direction, mocking the guard. "See that guy? He's just standing there doing nothing. Kind of like you right now," the crowd gasped. Lily's lip quivered. "He's not doing nothing. He's honoring my dad," Sarah's voice cracked. "Please, just leave us alone." But Robert, fueled by his stressful call, kicked at the gravel near the wheelchair, sending pebbles scattering. "Move the chair if it's in the way." It was the final straw. Whispers turned to shouts. "Back off! Someone get security!" Marcus felt the pull. His training fought it, but his heart won. In one fluid motion, he pivoted slightly off his line. Not a full break, but enough to face the group. The crowd noticed immediately. "Did he just move?" Someone murmured. Marcus's eyes, sharp and unyielding, locked on Robert. Then, breaking every protocol he'd sworn to uphold, he stepped forward, rifle still at his side, closing the distance in measured strides. Gasps rippled through the onlookers. Cameras flashed. Phones rose higher. Marcus positioned himself between Robert and Lily, his towering frame casting a shadow over the businessman. Robert froze mid-sentence, his earpiece still buzzing with Steve's voice. "What the—" he stammered, suddenly smaller. "Hey, you're not supposed to move, right? This some kind of show?" Marcus's voice, calm and steady like a drill sergeant, cut through the noise for the first time. "Sir, step back." It wasn't a request. The crowd went silent, the weight of the moment sinking in. A sentinel speaking, unheard of. Robert blinked, trying to regain composure. "I'm on an important call here. You can't just—" But Marcus ignored him, turning his attention downward. He knelt slowly, his uniform creasing perfectly, bringing himself eye level with Lily, his rifle resting across his knees, his free hand hovering gently near her armrest. "You okay, young lady?" His tone softened, a hint of southern warmth breaking through the military crispness, the kind of cadence shaped by church choirs and family stories. Lily nodded, wide-eyed, tears forgotten in the awe. "Yes, I just wanted to see you, like my dad said." Marcus nodded faintly. "Your dad was a hero, I bet." "Marine," she beamed. "How'd you know?" He glanced at the flag in her lap. "Lucky guess. What's your name?" "Lily." She extended her small hand, and Marcus, glove and all, shook it lightly. "Well, Lily, these unknowns we're guarding. They're like your dad, brave folks who gave it all. It's an honor to stand for them." Sarah pressed a hand to her mouth, tears streaming. "Thank you," she whispered. Robert, now thoroughly deflated, muttered, "This is ridiculous. I was just—" But the crowd drowned him out with murmurs of approval. The teenage boy kept filming, his video already capturing the viral moment. Sergeant Major Calvin Brooks, Marcus's superior, approached from the side, his face a mask of concern. He was an older man with decades of service overseeing the Sentinels. "Jackson," he said quietly. "What's going on here?" Marcus rose to his feet, snapping to attention. "Sir, this gentleman was harassing the girl and her mother. I intervened to de-escalate." Brooks eyed Robert, then Lily, his expression softening. He knew the rules as well as anyone, but he also knew the spirit behind them. "Protocol is protocol, Sergeant, but sometimes the mission is bigger." He nodded toward Lily. "Help her get a better view." "I'll handle the report." Relief washed over Marcus. He gently took the handles of Lily's wheelchair from Sarah. "If it's all right, ma'am, let's get you closer." Sarah nodded, overwhelmed. As they moved forward, the crowd parted respectfully, applause breaking out softly. Robert slunk back, his call forgotten as a cemetery official approached him. "Sir, you'll need to come with me," the official said. Robert grumbled but complied, his arrogance shattered. The ceremony at the main tomb continued in the distance, the rhythmic steps echoing like a heartbeat. Marcus positioned Lily at a prime spot along the outer path, where she could see the guards marching in perfect unison. "There," he said. "Best seat in the house." Lily grinned up at him. "You're a real hero, Sergeant Jackson." He allowed a small smile, the first crack in his facade. "Just doing my duty, Lily. But thanks." As the applause faded and the crowd settled, Marcus returned to his post, resuming his steps. But something had changed. The vigil felt more alive, more personal. In his mind, he thought of his cousin, wondering if he'd approve. Yeah, he would. The rest of the ceremony unfolded flawlessly, the guards changing with precision that honored the fallen. Lily watched every moment, her face lit with wonder. When it ended, Sarah hugged her tight. Dad would be so proud. They thanked Marcus one last time as he saluted them crisply. "Safe travels," he said. Robert was escorted out quietly, his phone silent now. He muttered an apology to no one in particular, his big deal suddenly seeming small. The teenage boy's video hit social media almost immediately. Tomb guard breaks protocol to protect little girl. Heartwarming Memorial Day moment. It racked up views by the thousands. Comments pouring in. This is what America's about. Heroes on and off duty. Back home that evening, Lily replayed the day in her mind, showing her dad's photo the little flag she'd waved. I saw a guardian today, Dad, just like you. Sarah watched her, grateful for the kindness that turned a tough day into magic. The next morning, Arlington's administration issued a statement. While we uphold the traditions of the Tomb Guard, we recognize that compassion in extraordinary circumstances aligns with our values of honor and service. Marcus faced no reprimand. Instead, he got quiet nods from his peers, a reminder that rules exist to serve people, not the other way around. In a world full of noise and rush, like Robert's endless calls, one act of stepping out of line for the right reason could echo forever. Lily left Arlington believing in heroes a little more. And Marcus stood his watch, knowing he'd guarded more than just a tomb that day. He'd guarded hope. And if you're listening to this story, think about it. When's the last time you broke a small rule for a big kindness? Share it with someone. It might just go viral too. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the story, consider sending a super chat to help bring more stories like this. Now click on the video on the screen to hear another story that's just as powerful and captivating. With courage, sacrifice, and a choice that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about duty and justice.